Yesterday I had to order a Bolt taxi, which is similar to Uber, because right now I have a problem with my car's wheel bearings. But I had a fixed appointment at the dentist, and it is very hard to get an appointment there nowadays. It was hard to decide to go or not, because I didn't want to spend extra money for traveling. The day before, I spent a few long minutes trying to figure out how I could get some kind of a bigger discount to make the taxi ride a bit cheaper. And I would have saved a solid 10 euros on the trip. But the next day, right after my booking, the driver called me. He was practically begging me to pay him 10 euros extra, saying the price of diesel had gone up so much that transporting me just wouldn't be worth it for him. I told him on the phone that I'm not doing too well financially right now either, but he didn't want to understand. After about 1 minute of that silence, I had to agree, because I was afraid I wouldn't get a new ride. By the way, it was already suspicious before I even ordered that the premium category was cheaper than economy or anything else. When the driver arrived, it really seemed to me that instead of the usual clattering sound of a diesel engine, I was hearing a petrol engine. I actually read up on this later. I wondered if I use a discount. Does the driver get paid less by that amount? But no, it turns out they still receive the full calculated fare without any deductions. I specifically felt like the driver thought I was some wealthier foreign guy, just because I was speaking English. Anyway, the driver drove really fast. He braked hard at every single speed bump and then took off flooring the gas. He also took the corners at such a speed that I could feel the contents of my stomach, even though I hadn't eaten anything. This made it even more suspicious that the car wasn't a diesel, because it entirely had the dynamics of a petrol car. I had plenty of nausea during that half-hour ride. At the end of this bumpy trip, the driver took his 10 euros extra for absolutely nothing with great satisfaction. I only gave it to him because we had agreed on it beforehand. I wasn't satisfied with the trip at all, and there was absolutely nothing so-called premium about this ride. So, I still don't understand how this driver could end up in this category. He probably chose it on purpose just to rip people off. But even then, I don't get why there isn't some sort of standard or a bar you have to clear before someone can put themselves in there. But the icing on the cake for me was when I mentioned to the driver that I didn't think it was fair that he managed to beg 10 euros extra out of me. He just laughed. With a grin on his face, he tried to explain to me in a lecturing tone that since he had to come from far away to get me, he charged me the fee. I found out later that the Bolt app already calculates the call-out fee into the price, so afterwards I got completely pissed off about this whole thing. Especially because my ride home was an absolutely perfect trip. Without that mandatory extra money, it was 15 euros cheaper than my trip there. The driver drove completely calmly and smoothly, and it provided a much more premium feeling than the first ride, even though I deliberately didn't choose the premium category on the way back, just so I wouldn't get ripped off again. For a long time regarding my worst trip, I specifically felt like I'd rather not give a rating at all than give 1 star, because I don't want to cause trouble for anyone. But after my driver on the way home was so good, the contrast was even bigger. Plus, I read that begging for money actually violates Bolt's general rules. So, later that day, while sitting on the toilet, I gave him a 2-star rating and reported the whole incident to customer service. They actually replied, apologized to me, said they took the necessary steps, and wished me a nice day. So, lesson learned. Don't let people scam you, and always trust your gut. Has anything like this ever happened to you? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time!